Good morning, just Patrick here, live to you again here from Complete Health. And I thought I would go through a topic based on something we've had a little bit of complications with, and I've had a couple of discussions with patients this week about x-rays and what do x-rays actually show and what are they particularly helpful for, because pretty much every single week people will come to us obviously wanting to have x-rays done on various parts of the body. And that being said, I've had some pretty strange requests over the years that I've been working as a chiropractor. I've had people want me to x-ray their skull, their nose, hands, knees. I mean, for me, the most bizarre one I had was the skull. The main reason being is that really if we actually understand what an X-ray is and how it works and what it does, then we actually can start to understand what purposes or what you might use it for. If you're using X-ray really shows us a couple of things. So what is it really helpful for? Well, it's really helpful for showing us stuff like fractures. It's very good at showing us the joints in the spine. It's very good at showing us any degeneration or wear and tear on joints, either in the spine or in the extremities. What it doesn't really show is tons of soft tissue stuff. So stuff like muscles, organs, etc. And so these are some of the things that obviously people have come into me asking. They go, well, I want to have X done on my knee because I want to know whether I need a knee replacement. And the conversation then obviously has to be had with that person is that, well, this isn't necessarily going to tell you or show you whether that's the thing that needs to be done. The investigation is what needs to be done. This will start to tell us whether those kinds of signs and symptoms would be within those areas. And then the investigation might start to give us a little bit more information. But generally, as a rule of thumb, the gold standard on telling us those kinds of things would almost always be stuff like an MRI scan. And the main reason being is it starts to show us in much more detail. So X-ray gives us a very good basis understanding to being able to understand whether this is a problem that's been there for a short period of time, whether it's a chronic problem, whether it's something that needs further investigation, or whether this is something that we should or shouldn't be worried about. But what we always have to understand is that this comes in with the other tests and information that your practitioner collects from you. So a lot of people will think that the X-ray is going to give us all of the answers, and it does not. It only shows us limited information, the same as all investigations. They are limited, and by the way, there are both false positive and false negative findings. That being said, basically means that if someone comes in and they see degeneration in their spine, it's an indicator that something is not functioning properly, but it's not an indicator whether that person is going to be disabled for the rest of their life. And so we kind of put a lot of emphasis on the fact that there's degeneration in joints on X-rays, on MRI scans, etc., etc., etc. And these are not the indicators as to whether people is going to improve or not. It's generally just an indicator that there has been a dysfunction or a problem there for a long period of time. So the things that we will see on X-rays, generally we will see the bones. We will see the spaces in between the bones, and this is really what the joint is, and this starts to tell us whether a joint is healthy or unhealthy, because if all of a sudden that space is lost, then we start to know that those joints have started to degenerate. Some other things that you may well see on an X-ray is obviously stuff like breaks. We would start to see changes in bone density if a lot of it has been dropped. Like I say, we'll start to see wear and tear or spurs or any changes to the bones as a result of degeneration. But what we will not see is stuff like your muscles, your organs. Other things that you can sometimes see, and this is very, very rare, is that occasionally you will see bone tumors on X-rays. This isn't something that I have ever seen. However, I have worked with other chiropractors who have seen this in their practice with people that have not necessarily been suspecting. So before you obviously jump in and think that this is something that you desperately need, you may actually find that your practitioner has the conversation with you and says, actually, this isn't something that's necessary for you based on the signs and symptoms. We do not, in our clinic, routine X-ray everyone. And the main reason being is there has to be a clinical justification to be able to x-ray someone and actually utilize those skills. So with every single person that wants to come in and requests an x-ray, we have to ensure that we've done the proper investigation first, and it is clinically warranted to have further investigation in that area. So if you want to learn a little bit more about chiropractic, x-rays, or anything else, or maybe you feel like you needed one and that you haven't had one for whatever reason, maybe you want some further investigation to see whether this is something that would be helpful for you, or you have some questions surrounding this kind of stuff, just drop us a message, give us a call, send us an email. We're happy to help you, whatever that might mean for you. Until tomorrow, guys, take care. Patrick here from Complete Health.